Chris Janzon from eXp. How are you?
Good, thanks, Lisa. Yourself?
Good, thank you. Thank you for joining me today.
Thanks for having us. Really appreciate it.
Okay, what I want to do is just a kind of informal chat about people opening a real estate business, right? So the three things that agents need to know that are considering going out by themselves, okay? So there's three questions that I kind of want to focus on. But first of all, just to make this relatable, if there's people watching this that can sort of say, you know what, I'm kind of a bit like him and, you know, I was in his similar situation. Can you just give us a bit of a brief rundown of, you know, kind of where you started and then, you know, what made you make the decision to kind of go out by yourself,
Sure.
you know, the thought processes and all that sort of stuff. So just firstly, just a bit of the demographics about, you know, where you are, what made you go out by yourself.
No problem. So I started real estate literally just before the GFC hit. So there was no better market to learn the industry. So that was a good introduction for me. I came from a corporate service background prior to that. So I'm in a location that services the northeastern parts of Adelaide. So you're talking probably 25 minutes north of the CBD. I service predominantly 4 council regions: Salisbury City Council, Tea Tree Gully Council, Playford Council and Port Adelaide Enfield Council. Varying price ranges, like your Salisbury Council, the median price there is 320,000, very entry-level buying, lots of turnover. Same as Playford Council, which is a bit further out north, sort of your entry-level buying there's probably mid-200s.
Okay.
Very high supply, price-sensitive market. Moving up the hill, Tea Tree Gully Council is more your higher end market for South Australia, and you're talking probably between mid-5s to mid-600Ks.
Okay.
And Port Adelaide Enfield is pretty much similar, around that 550 to 600Ks. So that's kind of my top end of the market.
Okay. All right. So your background, so you were working for somebody else. Like tell me how you started in real estate and then how you went out by yourself.
Yeah, so I came into the industry as a consultant for a previous business owner. I worked for them for a number of years in like an effective business unit, where it was myself as the buyer manager initially. We had the listing agent and then a PA. Did that for many years, and then obviously we realised we hit sort of a bit of a capping point to where we could go within that effective business unit. So then we branched out and I went out on my own. Then I've pretty much been with the same brand from day dot. Very loyal to this brand, a great brand, and very respectful of the people within the brand. But yeah, then I had a little bit of a shift because of the former business owner, and I guess it's that guerrilla tactics of you outgrow the business and, you know, you're the gorilla in the corner of the room. And so there was some challenges there with the former business owner. And for that reason, I made an initial move for a brief period of time to another local business owner that I was quite closely aligned with personally and knew really well. Then my former business partner actually bought the business that I previously worked for and said, "Hey, do you want your old desk back?" And I was like, "No way, I'm not working for that boss again," in light of what had happened. And he said, "Well, you don't need to, I bought the business." And I went, "Okay, no problems." So came back into that brand again. This was probably within a 15-month period. Worked as a selling consultant, and then my former business partner, who was actually my best mate for 33 years, or still is my best mate for 33 years, we had aspirations to get into business and sort of open up more offices within the franchise network. So yeah, we opened up another secondary office, which I came into partnership with in 2017, which was up in the Tea Tree Gully Council region. Bought a little rent roll, grew that organically. It came with some existing sales staff, but really had to retrain them from the former business owner and I guess some not so good habits that they had at the time, and then recruited salespeople as well. So we went from having about 4 people within that business when we took it over to about a year ago when we amalgamated the 2 businesses and locations. From a cost perspective, I brought down 14 people from that business as part of the amalgamation. So
Awesome.
So was a business owner until very recently, in coming on board to eXp, which, look, I had been looking at a lot of models because as a former business owner and director myself, you know, one of the big things for us to grow our business is recruitment. And over the last sort of 18 months, I started to notice it was getting harder and harder and harder to recruit. And literally, the only people that we attracted were coming to us because they were seeing what we were doing.
Yes.
It's a bit like a vendor. They're seeing your signboards. Well, the agents are seeing the same and market share. And it's like, I want to be aligned with that.
Absolutely.
But yeah, about 18 months ago, I started researching different models because I was noticing recruitment objections were coming up more and more. This was UrbanX with Dan, obviously Argent, great operator, Sound Business, through to Michael Choi from Area Specialists. eXp was kind of at the back of the pack then, not something I'd looked into, had some initial information, but as I immersed myself more and more into these models, they started to make more sense. And even as a business owner who was a listing and selling principal, I started thinking to myself, wow, this is new age. I almost can't compete with this. There was some stuff there that really resonated with me that even as a business owner, I couldn't achieve.
Yes.
So here we are, Lisa.
Awesome. Yeah, no, we'll go more into that as well.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's scary, I think, when you're, you know, contemplating going out by yourself to operate a business. When you're in your little cocoon, you know, you're working for someone else, you feel safe. You know, everything's the same. You know, some people don't like change, which we spoke about that before. Yes. Why should someone in real estate consider going out by themselves, do you think? Like, what benefits have you got? What, you know, if you were sitting back in an office, why, in hindsight, why should somebody else consider going out by themselves?
Look, the reality is I've been a selling principal and I still sell real estate today. It doesn't matter whether you're a sales agent or you're a director and a principal of a business and you're listing to create an income. We're all in the same boat. We could be broke in 90 days' time based on what we do or don't do today. The reality is. For me, like when I looked at my own personal value proposition, and call it COVID was, I guess if I can take some positive out of it, was a bit of a blessing in disguise for me. So when I was looking into different models, there was 5 key points that I was basing my decision on, myself personally. And number 1 was, what does it mean to the consumer, my client? Now, obviously, I've been in this for over a decade, and 95% of my business is repeat and referral. I get called in because of Chris Janzon, not because of the brand above my head. Yes. The other 5% is purely driven from marketing initiatives that I'm creating and doing and investing in myself. So what I did is I actually started surveying clients and just having conversations with them. And this could even be at point of listing. Guys, can I just talk to you? You know, am I here because of the brand I'm aligned with, or is it because of an experience or a referral, or you know me, or you've seen me?
Because of you, yeah.
That's right. And the feedback started to become very heavily weighted one side. So for me, the consumer, there was going to be real no change.
That's interesting, yeah.
The second thing was about, you know, how do I add value to my brand and my name as a household name? And within that, I was looking at within the franchise I was in, which was, you know, a great franchise, absolutely. But I just found myself more loyal to the people within the franchises versus the brand and how it actually added value to my life and my business. So eXp gave me the freedom to do what I want to pump my name and my brand. The third thing was around systems and technology. Every agent loves systems and technology. Not many agents, and I know because I've coached and trained them, they want cutting edge stuff, but they don't take the time to implement. No. And implementation is the key. But I found as a business owner, former business owner, when I looked at our bottom line, the amount of subscriptions we were paying outside of the systems the brand provided us.
And you didn't use them.
It just added up. Yeah, it was just always a Band-Aid fix. Oh, we want to be more cutting edge. Okay, we get a subscription. We bolt it into the business. We add the cost, but no one really implements it. Yeah. So we had high subscription costs because we were outsourcing a lot of our tech and having to source for it externally. The fourth thing was around staff retention. And I've seen this as a business owner. Unfortunately, the turnover in our industries, the attrition is shocking, Lisa. And I'm guilty for it as a business owner who had to list and sell to create an income to be able to survive and live. I often couldn't give the guys and girls the love and the attention that they needed to get up and running. We had some great success in mentorship programs. But, you know, there's some compromise there as a business owner because you've got to share some income of what you traditionally write and sell yourself. And it takes up a lot of time. And I realise there's really two principles in today's day and age. It's either the listing and selling principle is very high performance and writes massive volume, big dollars at the compromise or the sacrifice of their business. Or the flip side is there's another business owner that has a big rent roll and the sales is just up and down, but the baby's the rent roll because it generates the largest portion of income and stability for the business. So I just found there wasn't this blended balance between the both to keep salespeople happy and to retain them. And the fifth one was recruitment. And for me, as I said previously, I found people were coming to us not because of the brand or who we're aligned with. They were coming to us because they were seeing what we're doing anyway. The old social proof. So when I looked at those 5 value propositions for myself, eXp ticked every one of them. Whereas where I was formerly, I was only ticking 2, maybe 3 out of the 5 things at best.
Wow. I mean, for me, when I think about it, why should somebody go out by themselves? Everything you said, the advantages of keeping the commission, especially if you're a top performer, you are a high performer. You're in control, you get to do what you want to do within the boundaries of eXp, and they're quite flexible with a lot of things and the flexibility. You're responsible for your success and your failure. You get to say what you're going to do and how you're going to do it. You can do whatever you want, basically. You get to build your own empire, and you get to create your own vision. And you can have that vision with eXp as well. You can have the vision of having, like we have, people that join with us that, like the video you did, you and Bjorn walking up the street and Mike, and the vision of you having another 50 people walking behind you. You've got the vision. And I think that's something, when you go out in business by yourself, it just opens up another level of yourself that, that, I don't know, it just renews your excitement for everything, doesn't it? The new opportunities of marketing yourself, and new opportunities of everything, of having your own baby. It is like a baby, isn't it? A business is like having a baby, and it's like, you're so proud of it. Here's my baby, here's my business. And so, all of those things. And I think, so many agents are scared to possibly, go out by themselves like that. It does take courage. So I guess my next question to you is, what does it take for someone to go out in business by themselves? If you are a top performer or you're a salesperson, what does it take mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, everything to go out by yourself? What does it take?
Good question, Lisa. Like, we're all creatures of habit, and we love being complacent. We love being comfortable in that zone. I'm the same. I'm no different, although I thrive for change, and I love being in that space of the unknown. And I found, and as I was saying before, COVID was a little blessing in disguise, because it gave me time to actually pause and reflect from my busy life of being a director, an operations manager, running property management, trying to list and sell and keep my clients happy. And it wasn't until I actually had time to stop and reflect, and I went, you know what? I'm a jack of all trade. I'm not mastering any of them. I'm doing 25% good here, 25% good there. And I was just really stretched thin. But I was complacent. I was content. I had income. Listings were coming in. Deals were still going together. But I wouldn't say that I was living the true quality of life that I really wanted to be a present husband, to be a present father, to provide a better seamless experience from beginning to end for my clients, my vendors and my landlords and tenants, because there are a lot of distractions when you're a business owner. And unless you are in your business full time and working on it, you can't balance both listing and selling plus working on your business. It's just impossible. I've tried that. So for me, the greatest time to make a change is not when listings are fruitful, when the market's great. It's actually better to do it now, because stock is tight. And to make a transition when you've got less stock, it's better.
It's easier.
And obviously with eXp, I had the ability to plug and play before committing. So I really love that approach. Before we dived into a marriage and signed on the dotted line together, the national team were really supportive in saying, like, I get it, you're going to walk away from a business and asset. That's huge, you know. So before you commit to us, why don't you just have a look? And I did. I immersed myself in it for about 90 days. And if anything, that made the transition seamless. I actually hyped it up to be bigger than what it would be. It wasn't. The biggest change for me, and I'm pretty tech savvy, I like to consider myself, I keep up to date and pretty cutting edge with tech. Biggest change for me, the CRM was the same as what I was using. We were using a Pulse Drive technology. Well, now we use Google Drive, which is even easier again. The biggest change, to be honest with you, throughout all of this was coming off a server using Outlook Calendar. I was explaining before, versus Google Calendar. So that was a bit of an adjustment for me.
So much better though.
Yeah, but like anything, you know, transitioning my data, that's probably every sales consultant, high performer's concern, is nurturing that data for so long, transitioning it. Agent bots were phenomenal. Like, they actually cleansed my data before importing it in. So I got rid of duplicate contacts. So my database was probably at about 70% clean. Now it's at 100%.
Awesome.
And it cost me, you know, people think this costs thousands of dollars. I've got just over 2,000 records. It cost me $800, Lisa, to have somebody cleanse my data, import it from day one. Trails, everything was there, ready to go from day one. So I think we more so played it up in our mind that it is harder than what it is, because with today's technology, exporting, importing, it's seamless. And I've had no distraction to my daily operation. If anything, I've become more efficient. I've been in the office, and I generally get into the office, the home office, at 7 a.m. and between 7 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. I do all my prospecting calls, my scheduled tasks, my to-do list for the day, and I do all my non-negotiable contact with my clients. By 9:30, I'm done. In 2.5 hours, what would sometimes take me half a day, if not more, in an office environment, because it was, hey, Chris, can you help us with this?
Yes.
And you're there, but you're not as productive and efficient as you are at home. And I'm okay. I think if you're somebody who struggles to work on your own, you need an office. eXp might not be the model, but me, I thrive working on my own, because I'm more efficient, I'm more productive. And during COVID, Lisa, funnily enough, when we shut our offices, I actually wrote more GCI comm than I have for years in that first quarter of COVID-19.
Wow. A lot of agents are saying that, actually. Yeah, a lot of agents are saying that. Yep.
Yeah.
So what would you say to a principal that is, as you said, a top producer? They've got 2 sales staff, 3 sales staff that aren't really going that well. You know, they've got all the staff hassles. They've got, you know, the business, everything that comes with it, you know, all of that sort of thing. What would you say to them if they're unhappy where they are now? How do they transition out of that? How do you transition when you've got 2 sales staff, you've got the business, you've got the shop front? How do you transition out of that and say join something like eXp?
First things first, you've got to reach out. You've got to reach out. I mean, it's easy as business owners to suffer in silence, and I was at that place. Mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, you know, but you get up because the buck stops with you, and you just get on with the mundane day, and you face whatever's thrown at you. So the first thing is actually acknowledging how you're feeling, like to your core, irrespective of all that noise and commotion. If you're not happy within yourself, you can't relay that and provide that energy and that environment to the people that work within your business or under you. So you've got to reach out and talk to people. Like, the mental health issue in our industry is rife, but the thing is, most people don't talk about it. Fortunately, I had some really good close circle of influence to me that I was able to reach out to and talk to. But yeah, I think it's for a business owner, the line between profit and pain is very small.
Yes.
So for the business owners I'm talking to at the moment, Lisa, and you know, I'm 37, so I'm pretty youthful. Okay, a lot of the business owners I'm talking to are getting to that era of
be careful.
I've got 10 to 15 years to have a crack at this. What can you do? So I'm actually just showing them tech stuff that is been out there for years, but they're just not aware of it because they haven't had time to look into it, and how do we bring those subscription costs down for your bottom line to make you more profitable by reducing the overheads.
Yes.
Because business owners just don't have time. They run off their feet 6-7 days a week, and they just don't have time to work on the business.
Exactly.
Whereas I've got time to do that with them now. But you've got to reach out.
I thought you were going to say something about people over 50 or something like that. And I was like, be careful what you say. No, I'm joking. But, you know, as a principal too, you know, you can resent the staff that you have. You know, if you're performing and you're doing everything and you're paying all the bills and you're doing all this and you've got salespeople that aren't quite, you know, cutting it, you can start to go, oh, you know, they're the dead weight and, you know, all of that sort of thing. So I think it's important to kind of work out what's going to make you happy, whether that's staying where you are and, you know, whatever, or looking at something like eXp. But I think when you're looking to go out by yourself, what does it take? I think it takes a lot of courage to go out by yourself.
Yep.
I think it takes the forward thinking and a plan. You've got to make sure you have that. And as you said, try before you buy, like, you know, come and look at eXp, or anything else that's, you know, that's out there. And I think, like I said before, I think it also gives you that fresh excitement and motivation as well when you're taking on something else. And you know, you started in the GFC, as you said, it's a great time to start. It's a good grounding, and it's a perfect time to start real estate now, because, you know, you really do have to learn what to do. It's not just you get things thrown at you. It's actually you're getting things on skill at the moment. You know, which is good. And the other thing that it takes, I mean, to join eXp is just a small outlay, really. It's not a huge financial commitment to try before you buy either. So that's another good thing about it. So, all right. So when you're launching your business, what do you do first? What's the most important things that somebody needs to focus on?
Yeah, so obviously for me, it was maintaining my service or BDA area. Again, it just came down to a lot of the marketing initiatives I was doing. It was suppliers I had relationships with myself. So really, it was just changing the colour and the brand at the end of the day. So they took care of all of that. But the pivotal thing for me is I'm heavy on data and CRM management. So transitioning that was my number one priority. So that I knew from day one, I could plug my tasks are there, whether I was at my former business or under eXp. It was no different from today's date being cut-off day to then starting with eXp tomorrow. When I clicked at 7:00 a.m. on my first morning with eXp, everything was there ready to go for me. All my clients, all my data, all my scheduled tasks. So that was paramount for me. And you're right, Lisa, it does take a lot of courage and, you know, to take the leap of faith to go out on your own. But if anything, since joining eXp, I feel reinvigorated. I feel more belief in something because it's me, it's my brand. But yeah, the CRM was really important. Secondly, it was my service and farm area, BDA area, if you want to call it that. They were the two pivotal things that I really focused on heavily. I had a bit of a project management mind map, call it your to-do list of things that I had to do before day one with eXp. And, you know, each day I just worked on one thing. Good. You know, I didn't try to do it all in one day because I had the 90 days trial. I had 90 days to formulate a plan, implementation, strategic plan, so that each day I was just doing little ticks, little rocks. And eventually those little rocks that I implemented and changed each day just started to build that boulder of momentum, so that when 90th day comes, cut off and start, it was seamless and ready to go and make it happen. So I think it's more in people's mind as to how challenging and difficult it is. And I can share this stuff, you know, like with Bjorn, you know, Bjorn, as you know, is challenged by system, but he's coming a long way. But the great thing with eXp in collaboration with each other, like I had SMS templates and I had all these things generically ready to go that he had it. And I said, mate, here's my supply, here's the template, get in contact with them, tell them what you want it to look like, whether it be your pre-listing kit, your post-appraisal communication, your SMS to your database clients, whatever it was. Because mirroring success is the way to create more
Oh,
success.
absolutely. Why try and reinvent the wheel when you can
Exactly.
you can model other people? We're taught at school not to copy, and then
Exactly.
people think that that's a wrong thing when you get older. It's actually the right thing. You actually model what works, and if people are prepared to help you, then then model it. As you said, I think definitely your systems, make sure your ducks are all lined up, and have a trial. Make sure your ducks are lined up in a row, ready to go before you launch. To have that plan, to have support when you're coming on board, and I mean eXp definitely provides that support between between me, Glenn, Naomi, the whole team, you guys, everyone's just so supportive. You've got to focus on survival, obviously. That's the number one thing. Don't get caught up on making, you don't get paid for a Facebook post. It's like you've got to get listings and sales. So you've definitely got to focus on your prospecting and all that sort of thing. So I think that's, it's just really getting your head around that you don't have to be alone. It's not, with eXp, your trust accounting is taken care of. That's a big scary thing for some people. It's like, oh, I don't want to have to do the trust accounting. We don't have to with that. That's all taken care of. What other things do people get scared about going out by themselves?
Admin support, definitely. I know one of the biggest complaints I got from my former business was there's not enough support. And we were heavy. Like, our biggest costs probably came from our admin department. So that was something I was really skeptical of. But since coming on board, from having admin support on the ground locally here to now with what I'm getting from eXp National and the CRM, I probably had to change 2 things that I tweak in the back end of my database when I process a listing, and how the girls and team manage it from listed to under contract to sold and settled. And that's probably added an extra 2 minutes to me processing a listing. The way I process a story sheet is the same. My trust account's taken care of, the deposit's taken care of, the marketing invoicing, trust receipts, everything's all taken care of. It's autonomous. I still just focus on listing, nurturing, selling.
Perfect.
But I think, for those that are considering a change, it's funny because I took the advantage of winter when supply's low, because I wanted to be quiet with this transition. And it almost got to a point where business was still coming to me. I was like, I really want to embed myself properly and learn. But look, the greatest way to learn is sometimes throwing yourself into the unknown and the deep end, because the greatest learning is learning as you go.
And that's when you're alive too, doesn't it? When you jump out, jump out and do something that that is different. It's I think that's what life's about, to be to throw yourself into things. Take calculated risks, not just, I'm going to throw myself in. You do calculated risks, as you did. You looked at it and thought, what can I do? Did the numbers, did the figures, you surveyed people. So you've done it intelligent. You haven't just, thrown yourself into without looking at anything. And I think, there's people that are early adopters that will just throw themselves into anything new, without really taking a good look at it. And there's others that will take a good look. So, there's people that have said to me that, that they're interested in coming on, and they've gone, I'll just sit back and watch and see what happens. So you've done that, but you've watched from within, which is smart, because you're kind of, from the outside looking in, you can't actually see what's really going on. You can't see the support you get. You can't see the systems. You can't see all of that sort of thing. And you can't see that, like you did, that the vendors don't really care what brand you're with. They care about listing with you, especially people that are performers, that are top performers. If you're new, people don't know you and all that sort of stuff. But most people list with us as a person, don't they? It's not because, I'm going to go with that brand because I like their logo. I'm going to go with that person because I've heard about you, I've watched you, I've seen what you do. Years ago, 20, 30 years ago, you wouldn't know because you were still a baby, but businesses, like, we never knew who a bank manager was. You never knew who the staff were in a real estate office or anything. It might be, little names in the bottom of a newspaper, right? But it was like everybody hid behind a brand, you know, everybody hid behind this logo, and there was just the building, and you didn't know who was inside that building. You just dealt with that company. And it's really funny, in the UK, that's what it is. Like in all around the UK, they are how we were 20, 30 years ago. And it's quite bizarre to look at the way, you know, they're so far behind us. I'm sorry, UK, but you really are. They are so far behind. It's ridiculous. And we've got some people in the UK now doing eXp, and it's really exciting. They're just changing it to the way we do it now. They're leaping 30 years ahead in a couple of weeks, you know, so it's awesome. But, you know, I think you just got to jump sometimes, you know, jump, as I said, calculate it and check it out, you know.
And I think you're right. Like I think, you know, a brand has merit to maybe someone who's 0 to 2, 3 years. I think if they need that safety and that backing behind them, but
and hand-holding.
And I remember, like, you know, we had an appraisal rotation book, but I was never in that. The business owners were never in that because, you know, the guys want the leads as such, and a lot of people join an office thinking, I'll get leads. But what we found with those leads is they're really cold. There's 5 agents going in. It's the song and dance. Who tells me the highest price for the lowest commission? It's really hard business to win, and it's generally business you don't want because they're shoppers, they're browsers. They're not dealing with you because of a proven process or experience or traction or, you know, your name, your brand. Or the other option is, you know, being mentored under somebody, which, you know, we can do. Like the collaboration and the sharing of ideas that we have with the weekly coaching stuff we get from Glenn and Naomi each week is just phenomenal. The sharing of success. And there's just so much knowledge out there that in some office environments, it's kind of very protective and secretive. Whereas since coming into eXp, the sharing is just phenomenal. So it's been a real eye opener in terms of the training, what we're getting for the value that everything eXp offers. I'm loving it, Lisa. I'm really enjoying it, and I think coming from a business owner, still listing and selling, if anyone is a business owner or, you know, is just considering their value proposition at the end of the day, you know, what value are they getting in turn? Reach out, because when you plug the numbers, and I knew as a business owner, I couldn't compete.
No.
So it was either get on the wave early and ride it, or get wiped out by the wave later.
Yeah. By having staff leave and then you're left, what do I do now? Yeah. Exactly. Okay. So what would you say to somebody that's sitting watching us now, you know, watching eXp and saying, yeah, I'll just sit back and see what they're doing and maybe, you know, jump in the next 6 to 12 months. What would you say?
Look, you can do that, but I'm a believer that when people zig, you got to zag. So I can tell you everyone's zigging of let's social proof and see what comes of this. If you're the minority that zags, you adapt early, you'll get the runs on the board early, and you'll be okay, because it doesn't matter what model you're under. We're all in the same boat. What we do or don't do today will determine our next 90-day position and where we're at, regardless of model. So, you know, I think, I think you've just got to go against the grain. You know, don't be influenced by what other skeptics might be saying or suggesting or assuming without actually factually knowing. Because a lot of I don't really get objections with eXp. I just, the 2 objections I get is sounds too good to be true. And I had that exact thought process when I looked into this 18 months ago. Or I'll sit and watch and see what comes of this because of what Purple Bricks did. Let's be honest, completely different model.
It's nothing like it. Absolutely
consumer
nothing
model
like
versus an agent-driven model. So, you know, I think I love being an early adapter to things. I like being a trendsetter, not a chaser, because I think that's where you reap the rewards. And I think people just got to understand that, you know, there is support out there. You just got to talk to the right people at the end of the day.
That's right.
Get the right source of information.
And I guess if you really think about it, you know, the way the future of real estate is, do people think it is the shop front where you've got 10 salespeople sitting in an office? Is that really what's going to happen in the future in 1 year, 5 year, 10 years? Or is it going to be like the eXp model where people are, working from home, which, through COVID, that's been kind of an opportunity for people to see what it is like working from home. And that's why a lot of people have joined us, because they've gone, this isn't actually so bad, and I can get a lot done. So, just think about, how do you think the business model of real estate is going to go? And, like we used to talk about this, 3, 4, 5 years ago, we'd go, what is it going to look like? Is it going to be that there's segmented real estate jobs? Somebody's going to do listings, somebody's going to do sales, somebody's going to do inspections. Is it going to be like a, one of those apps where you just buy something? Or is it going to be, we've been trying to think about what the future of real estate is going to look like for a long time and trying to piece it together. And now this is it. It's more agents working by themselves, at a lower cost model, which the other model is just not sustainable anymore. It's just not, with the increasing costs, with everything else, the portals and everything. It's just too bloody expensive to run a business. It really is. It's, and the business owners that can't sleep at night because they don't know how they're going to pay their wages and going to pay their bills. And I'm talking pre-COVID. Now that's a whole different thing. But, even with COVID, if you're sitting there wondering how you're going to pay the bills, then eXp is just a very affordable way to get your business, on the ground. And, there's add-ons that you can get that can, sort of, kind of replicate what you've got now. But that's, I just think it is the future. It is now, and it is the future. It's the business model that I was thinking, what's it going to look like 5 years ago? And now here it is. This is the business model of the future of real estate.
Yeah, it's funny because, as a business owner, I used to see it used to come in, but it used to go out just as quick. And then you look at your bottom of the line on the 30th or the 31st day of the month, you go, all that for that. And look, I think bricks and mortar in commercial space going forward, it's one of your biggest overheads, no doubt about it. So reevaluating that proposition. Like, I got a client I'm meeting with today. He said, Chris, where's your office? I said, Don, I'm mobile, I come to you. And he says, all right, where do you want to meet? I said, meet me at this cafe and I'm going to buy you lunch, because I don't have to spend tens of thousands of dollars each month in a commercial lease. I can actually take a client out and interact and engage with them on a different level, as opposed to coming to my formal office and let's make this a formal meeting about this formal process. It's daunting. It's like being called into the principal's office. I get that. So it's more casual, and they get to see the true Chris behind the suit and the real estate face. But I totally agree. I'm on the road more. I'm more versatile. One of the values with eXp that really resonated with me was being agile. I love it, and they've lived up to it since I've come on board. They're agile. Anything we've asked for within reason has been absolutely accommodated. So I think you'll see into the future a lot of big businesses with big real estate, bricks and mortar commercial space will amalgamate, sublet. They will reduce their space because their agents can be more online and more mobile. My former business, we were set up before COVID to be seamlessly online, more so than having people in the office. Now, as much as you want people in an office, create a culture and a vibe, I'll be honest, it's a challenge. When agents get that flexibility to be mobile and remote and from home, getting them back to the office was a challenge after post-COVID. So I think you're absolutely right. This is the new age model. I think, look, my costs at the moment for me to run, Lisa, is less than $500 a month, because I've bolted a few little extra things.
That's so crazy.
Outside of the eXp world, but $500 a month. And like I said, the GCI, 70% up to 100K, I'll knock that over in a quarter, and from there I'm on 100%. I can tell you right now, as a business owner, even on stage 1 up to the 100K GCI, I couldn't compete with as a business owner myself.
No.
Once I hit 100K, 100%, I couldn't compete with that as a business owner myself, with what I had to leave in the business to make sure rent was paid, wages and supers paid. So when you can't compete, you've got to join them.
Exactly. Exactly. Come and join us. So anybody who's interested in eXp, give Chris or myself a call, and I'll put your phone number down. And yeah, thank you so much. I think it'll just really help people to kind of, have somebody relatable that they can, listen to and go, well, that's kind of where I'm at, or, how they were feeling or whatever. Because it's scary, it's scary making a decision to change. And I think everybody wants certainty. Everybody needs certainty in their life and security, to feel safe in business. And I think that's something that we definitely can provide people. We've got the systems, we've got the people, we've got the support, and you can jump in and have a look. Then you've also got the excitement of what you can do. So you've got the platform, you've got the foundations, but then you've also got one hell of a ride that you can do if you want, to really build an empire, whether that's, you've got lots of different avenues to create revenue through building a team with you, to listing and selling, to, the shares that they offer and all that sort of thing as well. So there's lots of different ways that eXp is very exciting. So, yeah.
Absolutely. And look, you can build your own rent roll too, completely separate.
Yes,
and that's
exactly.
The biggest thing that attracted me to eXp was the opportunity for multiple income revenue streams was just pivotal for me, because I don't have to list at such a high listing and sale volume to earn income as I can in different ways with eXp. So, that was really enticing. The fact that I could have a revenue stream through bringing a team on board sort of replaced the property management business that I own, but yet I can still build my own property management business and not have to share any of the profits. Not have to pay a fee off the top of that revenue that brings in every month. So that really excited me. But I think the biggest question I'm getting right now, Lisa, that I want to share with the people, the prospects I'm talking to is, Chris, when is the best time to move? But there isn't. Okay. I took advantage of low for sale supply because things were a little bit quieter during winter as they are seasonally. Things are really ramping up and picking up already as we lead into spring. But a lot of the people I'm talking to, I think we're in a bit of a bubble at the moment with people getting the job keeper, and they do feel safe because the relationship between them and boss is good because the boss is getting the job keeper, and it's not really affecting their bottom line. So the people I'm talking to at the moment is I'm saying, well, look, spring's a really busy time, but maybe just use that October, November, December period to plug, play, trial leading into the festive period when people take time off, most of your stock sold. I think we'll see a lot of movement because I've got irons in the fire right now leading into 2021 when the job keeper sort of pulls back. Relationships will be truly tested, and where agents sit will be really put to the test in 2021, what value they're getting now, not just through JobKeeper, but through the technology and all the things, the 5 key points I've spoken about. I think you'll see a lot of movers and shakers happening in 2021.
Yeah, I do too. And like you said, to learn, to have a look if you're not familiar with Agent Box, if you're not familiar with, the different programs that the eXp offer, then that 3 months is time to get your ducks in a row, to learn, to feel comfortable, to feel certain, to feel secure before, the new year,
For sure.
Come join us and start in January or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time this morning. And if anybody's interested in eXp, give either Chris or myself a call, and I'll put your number down in the video as well.
Thanks, Lisa. Appreciate the opportunity.
Thanks heaps.
Cheers. Have a good morning.
You too.